and so on. And he just had an absolute knowing, which I've had my whole life, an absolute knowing about how to do what I do, and I listen nicely because I'm nicer than Steve Jobs was to people who tell me how I should be doing things. But inside there's this absolute knowing that I can't veer away from, and it's
true masters have figured out how to access this energy that creates worlds. They know what leverage feels like, and they get hooked on it. And so when you're accustomed to things moving in big ways, because you've accessed this energy, because you've figured out how to stop shooting yourself in the foot, and you've practiced it, and you've allowed the momentum to get going, then when you deviate from it, you take it pretty hard and you know it. He reached the place, and many of you do, where you just get tired of trying to convince people who are on different vibrational discs what you mean. In other words, he reached the place where he realized, and accurately, that if he were to try to convince them of the course that he believed was right, that he would risk his own alignment, and he wasn't willing to do it. And so he stepped away, created a whole other company, found vibrational alignment, and eventually things came back around to him. But the way we like to describe it is, most physical beings live in a world where they're trying to please each other. They have given their guidance system away long ago, because when your mother or someone holds you as her object of attention and approves of what you do, it feels good to you. So you keep trying to do things that will make her feel approval, which feels good to you, without realizing that every step along that way, that you are giving up your potential awareness of your own guidance that is coming forth from within. So a lot of people come to believe in action and words and group consensus, and they create to a certain degree, but compared to those who tap into this energy stream, it is a very mediocre creating. So there are a lot of people who learn to be nice because it's expected of them, and we're not saying that niceness, that you can't be nice at all situations. We're just saying it's a normal thing when you're focused upon the exact opposite of what you want. It's a normal thing to feel bad. And it is not a normal thing to convince yourself that you feel good when you don't. And that's what you witnessed in that documentary.
Right.
He wasn't willing to pretend that he was in that leverage that he was so accustomed to when he was not. And so he just stepped back and said, fine, you all do it the way you want to do it, because you are beating to a different drummer than I am. And eventually they came back begging him to assist them.
After I declared that I wasn't writing another book and that I was done with that and I was tired and I didn't have to do that anymore, and then I wrote for 5 straight months every single day. I'm already writing another book, and that one isn't even published yet.
There's no end to your books. Just give in to it. Just give in to it.
And I mean, 2 things. One is, I was thinking, like when I was 12, 13 years old, it's one of the chapters, and I can see clearly now, I was watching, everybody else was watching Milton Berle on Tuesday nights, Mr. Tuesday Night, Mr. Comedy, and so on. But I was watching a show by a Catholic bishop, Bishop Sheen. It was called Life is Worth Living. And I was 12 years old, 13 years old in 1953. And I was actually taking notes on this show because I just loved this show. I had a stepfather for a few years, and he was Catholic, and he would turn this thing on, so there was no Milton Berle where I lived. But I mean, I couldn't wait for Tuesday night, and I was thinking, 13 years old, and I'm writing notes on a show called Life is Worth Living.
Because?
Well, I've written 40 books that could have been the subtitle to.
But because, you're 13 years old and doing that because?
Because it seems to me now, as I step back, I didn't know it at the time.
Then though, because? You were doing it then because?
Because this was...
It felt good to you.
This is what I was here for.
It was clarity.
Right. So now...
So he was a man, tuned in, tapped in, turned on, offering a vibration. You listened to him long enough to feel some resonance with it.
Right.
It called you back a very important piece in the unfolding of that which is you.
And when
He was tuning you to the frequency of your source.
was this,
So here it is again. Once again, as we talking about, pay attention to the way that you feel, because when you pay attention to the way that you feel, she's referring to that you are tuning in with your source. So your source knows everything. It knows all the different ways that, and the different hows and so on, to get you where you need to be. You just have to be tuned in with it, and how you have to be tuned in with it, and how you do that is just pay attention to the way that you feel. So yeah.